everybody. This is Diane, and this is Biters. And I'm just warning you all now, husband is not home. Dogs have free reign.
They're loose.
They're loose, and you can hear
let the dogs out.
I let the podcaster out, although I'm not thinking that was a smart thing to do. We'll see.
We'll see.
Everybody can hear Smalls in the background chewing his nylabone.
Or if it sounds like there's actually a moose in her living room in heat, it's Smalls groaning.
Well, he's a very loud sleeper.
I really hope he does it. It's so funny. Like, be ready for me to if you hear a be ready for me to crack up and turn your volumes down. Unfortunately, we don't have Phil tonight. Phil is a special occasion, but we did get a lot of really good feedback on Phil being on the show.
Yes,
so,
we did.
Yeah, that's super fun.
And I'm not sure if you're going to win or lose your bet.
You know, so they moved up the date for the Black Panther release. And
I know.
It is no longer going to be on a 3-day weekend, so I have to clarify the terms of our deal with Phil, because we were going to take the 3-day totals, and now that it's no longer on a 3-day weekend, because the bet could go on forever. I mean, it's going to be, you know, which one is the bigger hit at the box office, and
it should just be like opening weekend. So you guys need to define opening weekend.
Yeah, we had to put a definer on it, and so we said the 3-day opening weekend because Black Panther also opened on a 3-day opening weekend. But now I'm not entirely sure if the terms are fair, and I want to legitimately win without question because I will. And so I have to decide. Phil and I have to decide if we're going to redefine what our opening weekend is. If it's still going to be the 3-day take, or if it's just going to be the weekend. So
doesn't winning just mean you get to do your Sarah Palin impression, though?
I think everyone
Hashtag winning.
I don't think that's losing at all. But I really. Diane and I are trying to plot something for Phil, and it's evolving rapidly and at a nice direction. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But if anybody has any input, what should Phil's punishment be for losing? You know, Phil at Capes and Lunatics, what should he have to do if he loses? Should he have to do his entire YouTube show with wearing something ridiculous, or should he have to do his best Sarah Palin impression? Yeah, like,
ooh, I kind of like that.
yeah. So give us some feedback in the comments.
So this week,
episode
10 of season 8. I cannot believe we are nearly 9 seasons in. This is crazy.
It is. And of course we keep seeing flashbacks to the beginning because we all see baby Carl. But yeah, episode 10, The Lost and the Plunderers.
And one of the best. I think we both agree on that. One of the best of the series.
Definitely. And we've had some good feedback from Thomas and Phil about how, like, just amazing this episode was. I actually had a hard time finding a bad in the episode.
I did too. Mine is very small.
Mine's actually really large, but it was kind of unavoidable. So whatever.
Doesn't that nylabone sound yummy?
I actually can't hear it now.
Oh, good.
We got on the podcast and I immediately I heard a squeaky toy in the background. I'm like, uh-oh.
Which it's now up on the table. I'm podcasting from the living room tonight instead of in Pod Central since I'm alone. So just allows for everyone to have a free for all. Well, so what was your rating? You said you rated it quite a bit higher than you've rated things of late.
I did, and I think I kind of lowered it. Just
you lowered it just 'cause?
I'm bouncing between 4.75 and 4.8 nooks, crannies, and holes. Because that's what That's what Negan said over the radio.
I find it interesting that we both quoted Negan because I rated it 4.9871 out of 5. Lock, stock, and suck my barrel deals.
Oh, that's funny.
He had the best lines.
He always does.
Yeah, except, I mean, now that Abraham's gone anyway.
I'm going to miss him when he's gone.
I'm not sure that I'm convinced he's going to be gone. I'm not sure I'm following what you're, where you're leading.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to keep that kind of cast member around. I don't think they're going to keep paying Jeffrey Dean Morgan money when they're still arguing Lauren Cohan.
We have to wait for the Whisperer's Corner for that.
Yeah, fine. Don't we have another corner? Don't we have a correction zone?
We have the groveling corner. Did you want to go there first?
I think we should go there first and just rip the Band-Aid off quickly.
Well, hold on and let me just help you with that, okay?
Okay.
I just have to get my phone.
Okay.
So we were trying to decide what song was playing while Carl was hanging out with Judith and creating the memories of his last day, and
I think I was saying the name of the album.
And the song is...
What is the song?
At the Bottom of Everything by Bright Eyes.
Okay.
Happy birthday, darling.
Well, I'm very, 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 very sorry. I was the wrongest Wrongerton in Wrongingtown. I could not have been wronger.
The only reason I was like, no, is because I had Shazammed it. So I was really disappointed that, in fact, Shazam might have led me down the primrose path.
Okay, and isn't there like a stupid 10-minute intro to that song?
There is, and it's like all about these people who are about to die on an airplane crash.
Okay, I really, really like the song, but I could do without the 10-minute monologue.
Well, that's what threw me off when I was trying to play it last time. I was like, what the hell is that? That's not the song. That's not singing.
That's not even rapping.
It's not.
You kids and your music. Damn millennials. Learning napkins and corks and music. So yes, I was wrong. Diane was right. Phil was wishy-washy. We were all there. It happened.
And it's done now. Done.
And end of zone. End of correction zone.
Yeah, at least this time. The groveling corner.
The groveling corner.
Yeah, I like it. I better be careful. I'm going to end up there pretty soon, I'm sure. Okay, so our title, The Lost and the Plunderers. So I have to give a hat tip to Talking Dead because I would have totally missed it. It was the sign outside of Alexandria.
Yep. Once they said it, I was like, oh, yeah. Duh.
So they promised to help the lost and they promised to punish the plunderers.
Yeah. Yep.
And go ahead.
I would have never gotten that without Talking Dead.
Me either. I would have totally missed it.
I would have had some like super philosophical like, oh, Michonne and Rick are so lost without Carl's guidance and no. Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
But let's be super philosophical for a moment because I did write down, so who are the lost and who are the plunderers? And I think it's pretty clear at this point, at least the way that AMC sold it in this episode, the saviors are the plunderers and everyone else is kind of lost.
Yeah, that's the big oversimplification, but sometimes that's just how life is. It's cut and dry.
Although it could be argued, and Aaron brought this up a little bit, that our group was the plunderers when they went and made themselves less than welcome at Oceanside.
Right. Over and over and over again.
Right. Don't send Maggie. Make sure Maggie doesn't come.
Well, it seems like anytime Rick's group has an encounter with Oceanside, it's horrible. Like, somebody dies, we take all their guns. Like,
right.
And I do maintain, because in Talking Dead, they did the whole, a viewer asked a question, if the deal was that Oceanside would fight Negan's group
if Aaron stayed
in the All Out War, if the deal was, would Aaron stay? Would he take it? Because, of course, there's no men in Oceanside.
Oh, but he would totally take it.
I maintain there are men. Like, I think we determined that way back when we saw Oceanside for the first time, that there were a few men, and it may have been one of those that they met up with them later, or they were too sick or injured for Negan to make use of them, or something like that.
Or they just hide them when people come around because of what the Saviors did when they first encountered Oceanside.
Right. So when we saw the Oceanside group up, there were some... I would not have called them masculine women. They were pretty definitely men, you know?
Maybe Aaron is bi. Maybe we're just selling him short, and maybe he's bi. No?
No.
Okay.
No.
But I still think that if it meant saving the group, he would stay there.
Oh, definitely. Because I think he's so torn up over the loss of his husband that... You know, I think at this, I mean, he would make that decision because he's not even ready to think about dating anybody else.
No, you notice that somebody brought it up on Talking Dead again, shipping Jesus and Aaron.
Well, I liked his answer.
Yes, I did too. Yeah,
and we were screaming at the TV. He could be the meat in the Daryl and Jesus sandwich.
I'm kind of crying and kind of titillated all at the same time.
Love is love.
More crying because, you know, that's a lot of nice men who are off the market. But that's all right. Off my market.
Right? I don't even go to the market anymore.
I don't either. I've been married for 1,000,000 years. My God, I'm talking as if.
Right?
So, just really quick, our writers were Angela Kang, Channing Powell, and Corey Reed. And I just want to point out that we all know, we've been talking about it a little bit, that Angela Kang is the new showrunner for season 9. So that's kind of cool. Plus, I think that she has been writing so long for this series that she really has a good handle on all of these characters.
Yeah.
Same for Channing Powell as well. And then Corey Reed, he only has 11 Walking Dead episodes as a writer, but he wrote Sing Me a Song, which is the one that was really Carl and Negan centric.
So that makes sense for this episode.
Right. I thought it was really appropriate for him to be involved in the episode where Negan finds out. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little later.
Yeah. And so our director was a guy named David Boyd. And he doesn't have tons of directing credits with Walking Dead, but he actually goes all the way back to 2011, which was season 2. The first episode he ever directed was Secrets, which was season 2, episode 6. And that's the one where we find out that the walkers are in the barn and Lori is pregnant.
Wow.
Right?
That is taking us back.
That's way back. That's like Glenn. That's Glenn being all innocent and sweet and not being able to keep a secret.
Oh, that was right around one of my favorite episodes, The Well Walker.
Oh, I think that was The Well Walker, actually.
Okay, yeah.
It might have been the episode right after the one with the Well Walker, but it was pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so he also worked on he's got tons of credits, but he worked on Sons of Anarchy, Deadwood, Firefly, and when I wrote Deadwood, I was like, Ian McShane, who plays Mr. Wednesday in American Gods. So I'm feeling like, as much as I used to like shudder whenever Nick would put Deadwood on the TV, I actually may have to go back and watch it.
You know, it's one of those that was on the list forever, and it gets to keep taken up by new and amazing TV that keeps coming out, TV and movies. We binge watched Waco this weekend, which was only a surprising 6 episodes. For some reason, I thought it was like 8 or 10. Waco is the story of...
Yeah. I thought you said Wake Up.
No, Waco, David Koresh.
Yeah.
And the really interesting part, I didn't know this until like the 3rd episode in, watching the credits. It's actually based on 2 different books, and one of the books is written by one of the survivors of the Waco standoff, and like one of the ones who got out at the last second. and one FBI, ATF agent, one of those. So it's written basically,
Interesting.
the show is written from both sides. So when you see anything that's going on inside the compound, it's from the view of one of the survivors. And when you see anything going on in the outside the compound with the ATF and FBI, that's part of the book that's written by one of the agents. So it really had a lot of balance to it.
What channel is it on?
Netflix.
Oh, right on. No, that's awesome.
I think it was either Netflix or Hulu or CBS All Access.
Yeah, I guess I should say, what streaming service is it on?
Right. Got to catch them all. But yeah, it was. I'm gonna screw up his name. Taylor Kirchner, something like that. Really, really great, underrated actor. Did a really amazing job as David Koresh.
Huh.
And Rory Culkin.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, just
here we go.
Is Batmanuel a Rory Culkin fan?
No, that would be Yami, and he's too deaf to be anyone's fan.
Okay.
But those sled dogs are howling too, so we're just getting a full symphony tonight.
There, 30 moose on your way to work the other day.
I know. I may have to pause this though and do some serious editing before I give this to Rob.
Leave it in.
Pundit's an angel.
Or from My Favorite Murder. Can you Steven that out?
Yeah. So we might have to watch with Waco then, because that sounds really good. And I actually took a class from a guy back in Connecticut who wrote a book about Waco that was really awesome. So I kind of have more than a passing interest in that.
And it is a super controversial subject. I'm still, the details are still, history is written by the winners, and nobody really won, and everyone really lost, and whose side was to blame. I have my own opinions on it, but there was nothing good that really came out of that, other than hopefully something like that will never happen like that again.
I think it was horrifically mismanaged. I don't necessarily think that it could have ended any other way with someone as crazy as David Koresh, but I think it was terribly mismanaged.
Yeah, but that last episode, and the way that the 72 people died,
I'm sure it was horrible.
They showed it right up into the end. It was pretty horrific. So, just brace yourselves for that one.
Not as bad as getting ground up in a garbage heap, though.
Oh, but that was so satisfying. I'm sorry. Oh.
All right, I'm going to move us back to biters, or else we'll wax back and forth about Waco.
I saw Red Sparrow this weekend too. We could totally talk about that.
How was that?
God,
you're such a distraction. Squirrel.
It was really, really good. So I absolutely loved Atomic Blonde. It was way more espionage and way less action than Atomic
verb?
Blonde. Way more espionage?
Is that really a verb? Oh, I thought you said way more espionaged. And I was like, you're creating your own verb. Cool.
Well, the English language is ever evolving.
It sure is.
Shakespeare made up his own language.
And so did Sarah.
So, I love Jennifer Lawrence, and I saw a lot of articles on both sides of, what is our Katniss doing with her full frontal nudity, and
get over it. She's growing up and having a career.
And I do have to say there were some pretty horrific torture scenes, so brace yourselves. There were two scenes in particular that were very, very difficult to watch. And it is a very hard rated R movie. Do not take your children to it, not just because of the torture scenes, but we Puritans have our hangups about nudity and sex. So, do with that what you will. It's actually one of the things that drew me to the movie.
I was like, we Puritans? Who are you talking to?
No, it was a very, very good movie. And I agree with the people who are saying that it is not the replacement for the Black Widow movie that should be coming out. That's not so far. Because of course Marvel's Avengers, she deserves her own movie, but
Well, yes.
we'll get it soon, I'm sure, with the way that everyone's spin-off movies are going. I'm sure that we'll see a lot more cashing in. But yeah, Red Sparrow, I highly recommend it. It was 6 and 1/2 a dozen of the other versus seeing that and Annihilation with that guy, Danny.
He thinks that you made the best decision to go to Red Sparrow.
Right. Well, the theater is going through a remodel right now, and the Red Sparrow Theater had the nice seating.
Ah.
That was the deciding factor.
That was a very bourgeois choice.
Hey, we still had the old, scratchy, the horrible seats, and now we have the ones that recline, and yeah, so we're moving up into the early 2000s with our redecorating in Alaska. So yeah, we haven't had a remodel of our theater seats in forever, and so we have the nice cushy plush ones that aren't quite as nice as the ones in the lower 48, yet we still pay the same prices as the lower 48, but
I'm thinking depending on where you are, you pay more, but depending on where you're comparing to, because this is Alaska after all. We pay more for everything.
It's like $11.25 or $11.75 for a non-city.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying more than we are even.
Like I said, I also pay $3.50 a gallon for gas, so
you're paying about 60 cents more than we are.
Yeah, it hasn't gone down at all. But I pay for the isolation of the only way in or out is boat or plane.
I pay for the isolation.
It's like Siberia.
All right, come on, let's go back to biters.
All right.
No more Red Sparrow, no more Avengers, no more Wakanda. Let's just play biters. All right, so I didn't really have a featured cast. But I did tell you that I wanted to talk about Tamiel because we won't see Brian or Tamiel again because they were ground up with the heapsters.
So that was actually my actually
don't go to your good or bad.
No. That was going to be my rating.
Oh.
My rating was going to be 4.75 servings of junkyard pate.
Oh.
Because that was not even ground beef.
That's
that
a
was
good
pate.
rating. Wow.
It was so smooth. It was, yeah.
It was gross, wasn't it?
It was super gross, and I loved it. So if you're an avid listener, you know that I love horror movies. I do not like torture porn movies like Hostel. I will watch them, but I don't enjoy them. But gore, I love gore. I mean,
you should have been the chick on the stage on The Talking Dead getting that bag of heapsters then.
I wanted the blue cat painting.
That was a pretty cool painting.
I was hoping that I was like, when I saw that in the show, I was like, oh, I hope the audience member gets that. And they did. And I was so happy.
Maybe you can reach out to her. Maybe she'll put it up on eBay.
That's funny. But, yeah, I'm a big, that is so reminiscent of, oh God, why can't I think of the original zombie movie guy's name now? Not Robert Rodriguez. That's
Romero.
Romero. Thank you. That just seemed so Romero-esque. That whole.
Oh, The Grinder?
Yeah. That was just. It
was pretty good.
It's exactly what we needed in such a serious episode, you know? Is let's throw a whole bunch of zombies into a giant grinder. And let's make them heapsters to boot.
Right, which was the best part.
Oh, the best.
So Tamiel was played by a woman named Sabrina Gennarino, and she's a baby, man. She was born in 1978. I can officially say she was a baby. Which
she's a year older than me.
It freaks me out a little bit because she looks older than I think I look. And I must have, like, you know, some sort of bizarre aging condition where I see myself as younger than I really am. Anyway,
you know,
go ahead.
If you go look at her, have you looked at our IMDb page?
At our IMDb page or hers?
No, hers.
Yeah.
I think she looks pretty good.
Yeah, she does. They made her look older and more worn in the Heapsters.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so she's got her Walking Dead credit. She actually has tons of small credits. She was in a Jack Reacher movie, but the thing that cracked me up the most was that she had a recurring role on The Guiding Light in 2003.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not one I watched.
But back to the days of soap operas, because I don't think there are many soap operas that are alive and well anymore.
Oh, I think there are. I'm pretty sure, like, Young and the Restless
Days still is.
Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got all of the Spanish language novellas.
I know, but the American soap opera is like a dead art form.
Yeah, it's a dying breed. Which is really sad because a lot of my favorite actors and actresses got their starts there.
I do have to say, though, maybe I overkilled it a little bit by saying art form.
Yeah, but look what Jadis considers art.
That's true. Although we finally got, thank you, Tom O'Mara, for pointing it out. No more up, up, up. We finally got full sentences. Yes. Oh, God. By the way, we should give his rating. So he sent me a rating, and now I have to find my phone again. Unless you have it at your fingertips.
Did he send it to both of us?
I don't know. He might not have sent it to you. In fact, I don't think he did because I said no spoilers.
Okay, yeah. Because,
okay. So his was 4.89 pounds of tainted heapster meat out of 5.
Oh, see? Everyone loves heapster pate.
Tainted meat!
Oh. So it was a little sad.
It definitely, I felt like it humanized Jadis more than anything we've seen out of her so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the moment where she saw Brian for the last time.
Yes. And also Tamil.
Yeah. Yep.
I keep wanting to call them Captain and Tamil.
Well, you can call them anything now because they're tainted meat! I guess I do have one more thing for the Whisperer's Corner, or we're kind of transitioning to the Whisperer's Corner.
Yeah, I think we're headed into Whisperer's Corner territory.
Okay, you go. You go, girl.
Okay, so this is kind of a spoiler for comic book people, non-comic book people, maybe, possibly. So Jadis has been Jadis has been betrayed by both the Saviors and Rick's group. Say that 5 times fast.
Right.
After a bottle of wine. But so a lot of people are speculating online. This is not an original thought of mine. This is what I've picked up from reading a lot of people's speculation.
And I said this weeks ago.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
And this has been mentioned that we may be seeing the beginnings of Alpha from Whisperers, the head of the Whisperers.
We just might.
Yeah, Jadis is alone, and she really, really likes to lead her cult. So,
and Pollyanna could totally rock the bald. She could be bald.
Yeah. And I do have to point out that I've been saying all along, while I hate Jadis, I really like Pollyanna as an actress. And her finally speaking in whole sentences
was so appealing.
It was. It just sort of proved that she could be a much stronger character than Jadis ever was.
But we don't get many full sentences out of Alpha, so that could be bad.
Yeah, but if it's between not speaking and speaking that garbage crap, I'm totally fine with her being a whisperer. Although I really, really maintain that I want the crossover, and I want what's her name from Fear the Walking Dead.
You want Madison to become Alpha.
I want Madison to become Alpha so bad.
I wouldn't write it off. I think it's still possible.
You know, because
dude, they killed off Carl. Anything is possible.
I'm like, because we're sticking to the source material now.
Right.
Not. Yeah. So I'm fine either way. I prefer Madison, but Jadis would be a definite excellent next pick. I think she's pretty despondent. She's alone in the world. Yeah. So, the other part of the Whisperer's Corner, did you have one?
Well, I have just a little more about Maggie, about Lauren Cohan.
Okay.
So as of 4 days ago, there was an interview with Scott Gimple in The Hollywood Reporter, and he said he's, quote, pretty positive that Lauren Cohan will return for season 9. And then Kari Payton's Instagram just yesterday was, pay the woman.
Yep.
So yay, Kari. What a perfect thing on the eve of the Oscars to put that on your Instagram.
Absolutely. You go, man. And there was an article, God, I can't remember. It might have been Screen Rant, that was saying basically like, you know, when the big cast members are starting to get involved with, pay disagreements, that one side, it needs to cave. And that side would be the producers of The Walking Dead, because
they would be fools not to. I mean, talk about a cash cow.
Right. And, you know, if she's just asking what the other main actors and actresses are getting, she deserves it.
Well, again, the belief is she's not even looking for parity.
Right.
She's not even looking for salary parity with Lincoln and Reedus. Right.
But they seem to be lowballing her. Now, what lowballing is in Hollywood, I don't know.
Right.
More than I will probably ever see in my lifetime. But, if you're making other people money hand over fist like that, why not get your own grab?
I have a lot of respect for Robert Kirkman, okay? I mean, he is a total geek who has parlayed his geekdom into this amazing, amazing thing. He could surrender just a sliver of what he's getting, and they could make Lauren Cohan happy. Yeah. And they should. Because they've already axed one major character for the arc of the story going forward. They can't afford to do it again.
I'm just saying, dude, Whiskey Cavalier sounds like a really good show that I might watch.
Well, that's what you were saying last week. And, so the thing that Gimple said was, well, we worked with Denai when she was doing Black Panther. We can schedule around people's schedules. So.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
I just want it to be okay. I want Mom and Dad to stop fighting.
Right. All right. That said, so good, bad, and ugly. What's your good?
So my good, we've already started talking about it. I really, really liked basically the fall of Jadis. I'm
sorry, I couldn't resist. Infected by Phil.
Oh, I did not prep my soundboard. I think she finally got what she deserved, because how many times has she betrayed Rick, let alone anybody else? And finally, Rick turns his back on her in her moment of need. And I mean, she finally figured out the jig is up. And it was Simon who originally brought it out of her when he started mowing down heapsters. That was when she broke character and first started speaking in real sentences.
Right, after she socked him in the jaw.
Right. And, this is, I'm going to confirm it's a second time we've seen somebody break their pretenses, because King Ezekiel's done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like we've seen Negan do it a little bit with Father Gabe and
with Carl a little bit.
with
I mean,
Carl,
so
and now
that would make it
with,
the third time.
right. Wasn't sure if that was a full character break because his character wasn't as weird, wasn't as weird or outlandish as Jadis or King Ezekiel. But I just, when you cause someone so much trauma and grief that it basically flips their personality, it's a lot. And a lot of places was saying they were, she was humanized and blah, blah, blah. And I really don't think so. I think she was brought back to, I feel like she got what she deserved, She thought she was going to be this isolationist cult leader and keep all of her little secrets with a halo pad and solar panels. And it collapsed on her. I mean, almost quite literally, that trash heap collapsed on her. And I really, really like that. It was very satisfying to see Jadis, the character, get her comeuppance. And be finally, she betrayed one last time and the straw that broke the camel's back. So yeah.
That's funny because I didn't feel like I needed her to have her comeuppance. I didn't need that.
I needed her broken.
Nice.
I needed her as busted as those feet looked. Ugh, that is an infection waiting to happen, girl.
Right?
You're gonna lose a toe or two. Ooh, I hope she's had a tetanus shot.
Probably not in the last 3 years.
I don't know. We have never seen the Heapsters' living quarters, and all of a sudden we're finding out they have a helipad and
solar panels, right?
Yeah, and applesauce.
Shelf stable, 20 boxes or 20 cans.
Yep. So that's where I'm at.
Well, so my good was actually Negan's reaction to Carl's death. I really, I heard someone say on a show I was listening to today, I felt like he reacted more the way that Rick should have reacted.
Yes.
And while I don't think you can dictate like how someone reacts when they lose someone, it did seem like his was more genuine.
Yeah, definitely. He showed genuine concern when he was like, "Was it us?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I actually had I had slightly more feels about Negan's reaction to Carl than my reaction to Carl dying.
You must have taken more meds today.
Yeah, I got a refill.
So the other thing that was interesting to me about Negan's reaction to Carl's death is he berates Rick and says, this happened because you weren't there to keep him from doing something stupid and you failed as a father.
He kind of had a point.
Well, but what's so interesting is when you look at the way that Simon is trying to play and bait Jadis, what's he doing? He's doing the same thing. Or I'm sorry, not Simon. Rick's response to Jadis. So, Rick was like, "This is on you. This is all your fault." When he sees that the Heapsters have turned. So I thought it was really interesting that those two storylines kind of paralleled each other.
And I mean, we've said it for at least the last season that Rick and Negan are so much more alike than they will ever admit to, or possibly ever even know about each other. It's easy watching it from the outside, but they, yeah. I'm really mad at Rick's whole hand in that, where he's just poo-pooing his son's last wishes, and
So I thought the weirdest thing, and this is kind of rotting potpourri stuff, but I'm going to say it now. He didn't even talk to Michonne, like when they were at the graveside, and when he like walks past her as they're leaving the graveside, he didn't even talk to her, and I thought that was so weird.
Yeah. Were we all screaming at the TV not to leave the gun with the silencer behind?
Right? But there was part of me that was like, what do you do with the gun that your son killed himself with? Right?
You know, you're in an all-out war. You just got to suck it up and maybe kill
and take the gun.
Guy you hate.
Right?
But I was really surprised, and I didn't learn this until The Talking Dead, that the cross...
right.
was an homage to Shane's cross in season 2?
No, it was, I think they said episode 6 or not episode, issue 6 or 7 of the book.
Okay.
Because in the book, Shane doesn't even make it more than a few comics in.
Because I was wondering about it. It struck me that it was just 2 sticks tied together, you know, in a cross. And I was like, there's not even a little, like, you know, bolo tie that maybe he wore, or a little carved sign that says Coral.
But they also didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm so mad at the whole, let's go try and extinguish the fire of the half-burned gazebo because Carl used to sit on the roof.
Right.
Anyway.
I was going to say, we're totally straying into rotting potpourri. Shake that off your feet and let's go back to our goods, bads, and uglies. So what's your bad?
My bad actually takes us back to
And you said it was
heap.
big.
Yeah, my bad takes me back to the trash heap again. So gunning down the heapsters, they actually have a very good system to let people in or out of their area.
They do.
It's a 20-foot shipping container that, you know, opens at both ends. So
and it basically is the hallway that you go through.
And it's basically a kill shoot. It's even got holes you can stick barrels and stuff in, or you can open it up and herd a bunch of walkers in and slam the door shut. Like,
well, so Rick and Michonne are really lucky that the heapsters were already walkers and they didn't have to worry about going through the kill shoot.
I'm just saying, when you see Simon coming.
Oh, good point.
And you've betrayed him 2-3 times, and that guy's got a short fuse and an itchy trigger finger. I'm just saying, maybe you don't let him in. You know, maybe you don't even have to shoot him or put a walkers in there. You could just leave him in there to die in the heat, you know?
I will say, though, that they looked like they were taken off guard. They looked like they didn't realize he was coming. But where was their guard? I mean, they had the guard who intercepted Rick when Rick came to them after...
Well, and that thing is always shut and locked because she is always, like, sculpting in the nude. And... somebody knocks, and then the next time we see her, she's fully clothed. So,
okay, rotting potpourri again. Where did the white nightgown come from?
Again, we have not seen their living quarters. I am very, very curious about this helipad and solar panels.
Right.
So, my other bad in the trash heap mess is they were Rick and Michonne were so freaked out that, like, they were being surrounded by these walkers, and I'm like, just go up, you know?
Up.
Up. You can. That one's for you, Thomas.
Yes, it was.
You can climb up that mountain of trash, and they don't seem to be following you. I mean, Jadis has been sitting there for the last however long in her nightie getting sunburned. But, you know, and then they go up there and they develop a plan, and Rick picks up a car door and...
the real thing, apparently.
Yeah, the real thing. And so I'm just like, why not just go down the other side? I mean, there has to be a downslope to the other side of this trash heap that's not in the middle of a bunch of walkers. Why do we have to fight our way out?
Would think.
I don't know, you know? The bear went over the mountains.
Maybe it's like Niagara Falls. Maybe it's just impossible to get over the other side.
You know, the other side? Yeah, I don't know. I do a lot of hiking, and there are some times where you don't think you can see a way across or a way up or around or down.
You just slide down on your butt.
You do. Actually, you do. That is 90% of the time, that is the solution. Just slide right down on your butt. Because if you fall, you're already on your butt. But there was a lot of plot holes and continuity error and everything in that. And I like I said, I had a really hard time picking my bad because I really liked this episode a lot. So yeah, that was just my bad. There was a whole bunch of, why didn't you do it this way in the trash heap? So
because they wouldn't have been able to use the grinder then.
Which
was really cool.
Yeah, they're like, you're forgiven all of your plot holes. I'm just, that's got to be a thing now. Like, I think I'm going to have to put chili through a meat grinder and see if it looks like zombie pate.
I think you're going to have to do that for your Halloween party.
Yeah. Zombie pate with queso.
And then you could do like little zombie fingers to eat them with.
Oh, that sounds horrific and delicious.
Well, my bad was really small, but I mean, you know that I am usually so good at not just suspending disbelief, but fully abandoning disbelief. I usually don't like gripe about little things, but the walker whose face got peeled off on the gate as Michonne was closing the gate to Alexandria, it just seems so gratuitous. And I mean, in 8 seasons of zombies, with the well walker, with some pretty freaky zombies, that just seemed like a really wasted moment.
Really? Why?
I just didn't like it. It just seemed so obvious and again, just so gratuitous. I thought, why waste Greg Nicotero's amazing skills doing something so lame? And something so that the zombie literally walked right into.
Yeah, we do have to suspend a lot of disbelief, but it's kind of like, well, how does the zombie see it anyway? So just walking straight into it, I could see it, and I really, really loved the face peeling.
Did you?
Yeah,
it just seemed a little over the top. I don't know.
I think the next time I pull off a mud mask, I'm gonna have a little pause. And that'll haunt my nightmares for a while.
I hope you don't lose that much tissue. That would be a really bad mud mask.
No, I don't do that one that like people always film where it's super painful to take off. I'm like, why? That can't be good. But I did have a slight problem with that scene anyway. And I see it over and over again where they just like, she puts the sword through that zombie's mouth, and I'm like, you are not hitting the brainstem.
Well, think about it.
Putting a screwdriver to the ear, you can totally miss the brainstem. I mean,
do you have to hit the brainstem, or do you just have to hit brain tissue and disrupt brain tissue?
I have always operated under the impression that you have to sever the brainstem.
No, because I'm thinking of one of her walker kills from this episode, and she actually just cut like half of its head off, and it was through the neocortex. It was definitely not through the brainstem.
Yeah, I remember that one because the top of the head, the bowl goes flying basically.
Yeah, so I think you just have to disrupt the brain.
Okay, well, this went through the back of her throat, so.
But there is, when you think about where
you can sever the thingy.
You're getting into spinal cord, but your spinal cord, you're still at brainstem. So I'm going to give her that kill.
All right.
That would be the medical corner. Oh my God. We're so bad.
Where we learned you can't exactly kill a guy immediately by pulling his intestines out of stomach, but he will pass out from the pain.
I did check it out with another NP who watches The Walking Dead, and he thought that that saying that the person had passed out was the right take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I concur, doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I just play one every day.
Well, that was actually a quote from Catch Me If You Can.
Ah.
And he got that from the original ER show.
Funny.
Just
Very
saying,
funny.
you concur.
All right. You're ugly. Tell me you're ugly.
So my ugly was, I wrote the part next to Rick. And I think I've touched on it earlier where I just, like we said, I have no judgments about how anybody grieves about the loss, especially of a child. But I really, his rage, I mean, all his son's dying words were that he wants peace and he wants the killing to end and they can't live like this and don't do this. And I died for peace and blah, blah, blah. And Rick, it is just sailing straight over his head and he is in full on kill mode for Negan. And it's not what Carl wants. Now, whether I agree with Carl or not, that's a different story because I don't think I agree with Carl, but Rick isn't even pausing to take stock of what his son was trying to say to him in his final hours, and I really like Michonne and Negan's responses were appropriate. I mean, I complained about Michonne having the overreaction of trying to, stupidly put out a fire that was going to get both of them killed and not save the gazebo, which was already gone, in my opinion.
But that was a very emotional reaction.
That was definitely an emotional reaction that you would have. I mean, that is a mother or, a close friend or stepmother. That is somebody who loves somebody reaching out for something tangible after they've lost somebody, and
I think it's the way we react in any trauma, though. I mean, we enter into fight, flight, or freeze. So she was fighting, right, and Rick was freezing.
And it's so funny. There were so many callbacks to the mistakes he had made previously. He had the orange backpack slung over his shoulder.
Right. But did you see what they said about the orange backpack on Talking Dead? Because I thought that was a really good point. I
did, but I kind of haven't remembered it. What was it? Do you remember?
So I believe it was Angela Kang who said that it was Denise Huth who said that the orange backpack basically just represents that despite terrible losses, life goes on. And I mean, when you think about the journey of the orange backpack, it's true.
Right.
And the Thunderbird van. They had the Thunderbird van too, so.
And then when he shot over Jadis's head, like he shot over Sadiq's head,
Good call.
I was like, he has learned nothing. And I don't know if that's going to work out for him in him battling Negan, because I feel like Negan is learning from every little thing that comes along, every little betrayal by Simon, every little thing that Eugene is kind of working around, and he hasn't found out about what's his name's betrayal yet, has he?
About
Dwight. He hasn't found out about.
Don't think he has yet, and he hasn't found out about Gavin's death yet.
Haven't found out about Gavin's death. They just found out that the satellite occupants were taken.
Right.
Which I have to give a shout out to those three saviors who brought the coffin in, and they totally left him the nail gun to take care of what was there. I was
fully charged, by the way.
Yeah, fully charged. I was like, way to be there. Like, good forethought on that one, saviors. That guy deserves like a night with one of your wives or something.
At least extra pickles.
It's extra good cukes. But yeah, I feel like, the hero, the villain is the hero of his own piece, and aside from the whole, bashing the random skull in with a baseball bat, Negan could be a better leader than Rick. He's not gonna be.
No, I'm just thinking, but it becomes the question of, is this attempt at democracy okay, or is this complete and utter autocracy that Negan has going on really the way that people want to live?
Some people, sure.
I mean, he's really running a feudal autocracy, and Rick is really trying to do a democracy most times. Every now and then he pulls Rick the dictator, but...
Does any...
Well, we have demonstrated over the last couple of years that no democracy is perfect.
I was going to say, is there anything that lasts forever? You know, I think it's ever evolving. And, you know, if you're a comic book reader, you'll even get into the, I forget, the Commonwealth. And, you know, nothing seems to be perfect.
Well, and at the risk of being uber political, you know, we think that we live in a democracy, but most of us are debt slaves. So,
yeah,
you know.
We live in a democratic republic, by the way.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Civics.
A lot of people don't think about that, but say the Pledge of Allegiance to the republic for which it stands. One nation, indivisible.
See, Tom, she does know. She does know the Pledge of Allegiance.
I do. I even stand for the national anthem. No, I don't. I don't go to sporting events. Not standing up in my home. Ugh.
All right. Are you done with your ugly? Because I want to get to mine.
You didn't do yours?
No.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
So mine, it goes back to your good, and it goes back to your Whisperer's Corner, but I really think that we saw the making of Alpha. I think we saw the birth of Alpha.
When do you think we're going to get that?
Season 9? Know, but I have to say, yeah, probably season 9, probably after All Out War is resolved, but I really do feel like, especially Rick's betrayal, I think the thing that really started the crack was Simon killing off all of the Heapsters and leaving Jadis alive to deal with those consequences. But I think then her begging Rick to just help her get out of the trash heap, and he's not even willing to do that.
Yeah.
I think that really puts her in a place where she has no one to trust.
Do you think that she understands that she brought them there?
What do you mean?
That
her petty little betrayals created that?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I think if she had just gone with the Saviors, she would have been fine. Or if she had gone with the Saviors and then betrayed them for Rick's group,
and
she'd
then
have been
stuck
fine.
With Rick's group. Yeah.
But not this back and forth BS.
But, you know, this kind of goes to what Negan said to Rick when they were talking about Carl's death, you know, that if he had just capitulated and become a part of the Saviors, you know, another outpost of the Saviors, that Carl would still be alive.
Yep.
I don't know. A couple of other things that I thought about when I was looking at the whole thing with Jadis is that Simon is like every redneck guy that has ever put the artist Jadis down, that has ever like talked down to the feminist Jadis. Not that I'm like personalizing or anything, but I was just looking at the way that he was treating her and the way that he kept goading her. And I thought, that is every really crappy guy that this woman has ever had to deal with in her reality. Me too. Hashtag me too.
Hashtag time's up. Steven Ogg. We see you, Simon. Never again.
And then the other thing that I thought when she was sitting there in her nightgown, which I'm still not convinced I know where the nightgown came from or why. She's
a white nightgown.
Right, in the middle of the heap.
Yeah.
She is a very handsome woman. She's not a small woman by any stretch, but she's very handsome.
No. In the movie The Woman, she's got full frontal nudity, and she is a very strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
Still, like, does not diminish her attractiveness. The other movie that I watched with her, that the name escapes me right now, cleans up nice. So
excellent.
Yeah. I mean, like I said all along, I hate Jadis. I like Pollyanna. So.
Maybe we should ship Tara and Jadis. That would be a power couple.
Aww. Yeah. And Tara could totally teach her how to talk again.
And they could make great art in the nude.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm done with my ugly.
Okay.
Now we're wading through stinky, rotting potpourri. As if we haven't been doing it all along, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this episode did have a lot of trash heap in it, so there was bound to be something smelling. And according to Aaron and Enid, it was the fish.
Oh my god, that was a really funny little moment
Sidebar.
on Talking Dead. Yeah.
And what's funny is coming from Southeast Alaska,
you know,
or really
smell.
Anywhere in Alaska.
Yeah.
Spawning season in this town or low tide in the summertime. It reeks
dead salmon.
Decaying matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. And, you know, and if you have ever smelled a bear up close, it is a dumpster fire. Like,
and this is just a special little moment for any of our non-Alaska listeners. If you have ever smelled a dog that's rolled in salmon carcasses,
or bear poop during spawning season. So it's bear poop full of rotting fish. Extra nice.
And occasionally the misguided human.
No, like when you take a bear rug in for taxidermy, those things reek. Bears are something that you actually smell on the trail before you hear or see them. I mean,
sometimes that is very true.
Yes, it's grotesque. So
mostly during spawning season.
I remember if it's a black bear, it'll chase you up the tree. If it's a brown bear, it'll knock the tree over.
That is also for Thomas O'Mara.
Yep.
God.
Yep. So, Enid
was so cool. So she was dropping truth bombs right and left. And she and Negan were both like dropping the truth bombs.
She totally talked her and Aaron out of a death sentence.
Yep.
Is she going to be our new Maggie if they drop Lauren Cohen?
Possibly. And I think there's a good chance she's going to be our new Carl.
Oh, so I was hearing that she may be a mishmash of a couple of child characters that are dead, are dead in the show, but
still living in the comics.
Still living in the comics.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert! Right. So Sophia is still alive in the comics.
Okay. Yep.
So, and she actually is kind of already fulfilling the role that Sophia plays, which is Maggie and Glenn's surrogate daughter.
Yes.
So, there is a character that comes in who is somewhat competitive with Sophia, and she may actually be a mishmash of those two characters.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the scuttlebutt online. And, you know, I'm really going to be butthurt if we lose Lauren. I don't think that they should do it, but they're setting Enid up to be a very strong young leader.
I don't think she's ready to lead yet.
No, definitely not yet. I don't think she could stand up to...
I don't think she could stand up to Rick.
No,
I think that she's disgusted by Gregory and could stand up to Gregory, but I don't think she could stand up to somebody like Rick.
I love how she treats Gregory. She treats him like a child.
Right. She's totally his escort around Hilltop.
I know.
Come on, Gregory.
Come on, Gregory. Like, she treats him like a small child or more intelligent dog, you know?
Hey, that's an insult to my dogs.
Oh, they're smart in other ways. They have emotional intelligence.
I'm sorry, comparing them to Gregory, that's just rude.
So, was that an actual bark or a soundboard? Okay. I was like, Lassie, come home.
No. The real marks are happening outside.
No, I was super, super impressed with Enid this episode. I think she's definitely turned a corner. And yet she made the point on The Talking Dead. This was her first kill.
Right, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, this was her first human kill. Caitlin Nacon? Yeah. You just have you expect everyone to have killed somebody at this point, but really, we keep saying that, and we keep finding people who haven't. And
well, she's been a kid up until this time, and Just Survive Somehow was really about escaping the zombies, And
I like how she turned that around when she was asked about it, and she still lives by it, she still survives by it, but it's evolving.
Now it's survived for something good.
Yeah, it's survived for something good. So, yeah, I really liked Enid.
So I really like the fracture that was so evident between Negan and Simon. I mean, it's been kind of coming, but this is the first time that I really feel like they were just head to head, and it was so cool.
So on our Preacher podcast, whenever Jesse and Tulip are fighting, I'm like, Mom and Dad are fighting again, and I don't like it.
Mom and Dad are fighting again, and this is really good.
My two dads are fighting, and it's awesome.
And I totally knew that Negan was going to do the whole "people are a resource." And I know he wasn't HR, but his "you will do your job" rant was just fierce-spirational.
There was one scene that kind of got me where Negan said, "You will do what I asked." He said, "You will do what I ask." He didn't say, "You will do what I tell you." He said, "You will do what I ask," which I really thought
choice of language.
Right. And I'm really, really, really curious to see, because Simon did a lot of lying to Negan.
Oh, it's going to totally bite him.
I mean, it is a zombie apocalypse. People die all the time. Maybe he didn't kill all of the heapsters. Maybe they just, they ran out of Xanax and they all just jumped into the grinder. You know how artists are.
I know.
There was blue paint everywhere. They were in their blue period. It was over.
It was a real shite show.
Yeah. So, he could get away with lying there, but he's gonna get painted into a corner, and that paint's gonna be blue.
No pun intended.
Well, we keep seeing blue paint. The blue paint with the handprints.
Oh,
and then the blue paint at the junkyard that everyone tripped over.
Okay, it's either symbolic or someone just had an excess of blue paint in Alexandria.
Well, and then Simon looks down at one point after lying to Negan about,
and he's got a blue boot.
Got a blue boot.
Same as Rick. So Rick was like stumbling through the blue paint.
Yeah. So maybe, is he going to pin it on Rick?
There's some speculation that might be part of it.
Yeah.
That might be part of the reason that they showed Rick kind of stumbling through the blue paint.
I just, nothing is that by accident. And why would you show Rick stumbling through blue paint? Why would you show Simon with blue paint on his shoes? And yeah.
The other thing is we find out, and I really do believe this, I really do think that Simon is that person who was in charge before Negan came along, because he says about the satellite outpost, 38 people, those are all my people. Dean that was Dean, and those are my people, and I'm going to take them down.
Yep.
So I really think that Simon was trying to run things out of the satellite outpost.
Right. And, he really just wanted to burn this down and move on and find a new place.
Right, cut our losses.
Yeah, he wanted to scrape the plate into the trash.
Yeah, I thought that was a good analogy.
Yeah. And so I really think that he's just like, you know what? We've lost control of this. Let's cut our losses and move on.
So another thing about the blue paint and going back to the handprints. So I was thinking about especially Michonne finding the handprints and having an emotional reaction to them. And I thought, are those blue handprints a promise? Are they a promise that we're going to see Alexandria rise again?
I hope so. If nothing for the fact of there are really good, nice resources there, and I don't think it should just be left to rot.
And not everything is destroyed. It's just going to be a matter of cleaning, clearing, rebuilding in some cases.
I think there's plenty of enough homes that, still have a bathtub and a refrigerator, and, if they maybe can haul the solar panels from the trash heap.
Good plan.
They can replace the solar panels that Negan was saying he should have kept. They could have come into use, but oh well. And I still kind of have feelings that we may see Eugene worm his way back into Rick's group.
I don't know. It's possible.
And I'm okay with that. Everything he's done out of fear and self-preservation, and I don't know how much you can blame somebody for somebody, especially like him, where that's all he knows.
Okay, but it's really not fair to not cut Jadis a break and to cut him a break, because her betrayals were fear and self-preservation and preservation of her group.
Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. I don't have to be fair. Time isn't real. None of this is real.
All right, Doctor Who.
We're living on the other side of the looking glass.
Oh my God. Okay, so did you like the way that they labeled each segment with a person's name?
I don't know. I don't know what the point of it was, because every time they labeled someone's name, I don't feel that they focus just on that person. Like, the first one was Michonne, but it was the Michonne and Rick show. And the second one was Negan, and it was Negan and Simon. The next one was Enid, and that was Enid and
Aaron.
Then we went to Simon, and it was Simon and the Junkyard. Jadis, and it was Jadis, Rick, and Michonne, and then Rick ended it with Negan.
So I kind of wondered if it wasn't... At first I was thinking maybe it spells something out, so I wrote it all down. It doesn't spell anything out. And then I thought maybe it's the names of the people that Chandler Riggs or that Carl left notes to, but that doesn't play out either, because I can't see why he would leave notes for Simon and Jadis.
Yeah.
I was just kind of trying to figure out how they chose those specific people.
And why they labeled them. I mean, we've jumped around from time to characters to locations before, excuse me.
But it did have that feel of kind of comic book panels, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay. I will give you that.
Thank you.
I currently am suffering through the hiccups now.
Oh, so you missed this because you don't get commercials, but they showed a Jessica Jones trailer during the commercial breaks. It looks really good.
So can't wait.
I know. I'm excited too. What else? Oh, so Aaron and Enid, back to them. So when they separated, he did not promise her that he would see her again, even though she asked. And she did not promise him that she would be okay, even though he asked.
Huh. I didn't catch that. I thought they had both.
They just hugged.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how do you promise that? And two, if you don't live up to it, it probably means you're dead. So
right.
Promises really don't mean much when you're dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just noticed that. So I think that leaves both characters a little bit uncertain. Leaves their futures a little bit uncertain. Not that, I mean, obviously, if we haven't learned 8 seasons in, Carl taught us everyone's future is uncertain.
Yeah. Going back to the very, very beginning when Michonne and Rick got done burying Carl, it's it's funny. Everyone should have that morbid and difficult discussion with their loved ones of what they want done after life. And everyone, not just your parents, but everyone's wishes should be known.
Okay, you are most likely going to outlive me. Clear the browser, destroy all the sex toys, peel the tattoos off, and turn them into wall art.
That's the one we all have issues with, Di.
I know.
I mean, I know there's actually a place that will take them and display
them.
I don't have to do that in my own home. Because I just...
give them to my friends.
But you want to be cremated, right?
Right, but not... I mean, you can do that after you peel the tattoos off.
But so I just started a new job, and it's actually my boss. I've known her for a really long time, so this isn't that crazy of a conversation to come up with in your first couple of days.
We're already talking about you dying. We've only had you for a couple of days, but we're already talking about your eventual death.
She retires in 57 days.
Oh,
and
wow.
We were talking about, like, what are you going to do after your retirement? Because staying in Juneau is very, very expensive, even, as a retiree. A tier 1 state employee retiree.
Which is pretty much a golden parachute for the average human.
Right. And a lot of people move out of the States. A lot of people move north. It just kind of depends on what your lifestyle wants to be like. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to shovel snow in the old age. So they moved to Idaho, of all places. And she's like, I don't know. I told my husband, pick the spot you want to be buried in. We'll go.
We're not moving again.
Yeah, we're gonna go to wherever you want to be buried. And I looked at her and I was like, cremation. You could bury a little bit everywhere.
Oh. That just made me think our neighbor's husband is getting sprinkled on the Iditarod Trail this week, at least part of his ashes.
Aww.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is when they had buried Carl, and I know it's not like they have time for like a Viking funeral.
They didn't exactly have a crematorium hanging around.
Right. But the emotions of just putting him in the ground and then being like, we gotta go.
Peace out, Carl, corpse.
That would be so difficult. And you don't know if you're coming back.
It's more impetus for Alexandria to rise again because there are so many important people buried in that graveyard.
Right. And so you hope you would. But I mean, imagine, I think that's one of the reasons why Rick had just shut down and Michonne was trying to deal with it in very odd ways is, could you imagine just burying your child and then being like, I can't even like bring flowers to his grave in the morning or, that would be so, so difficult.
I actually can't. I'm not sentimental like that.
And see, I'm not sentimental either. As far as I don't think anybody should do that for me. My choice is I would prefer cremation.
Good to know.
Viking burial at sea would be kind of awesome with the flaming boat and everything. That would be pretty cool. But there's so much permitting involved.
Oh, no, and home funeral, because home funerals are legal. Watch the documentary Point of View, or that was created for Point of View called A Family Undertaking. Trust me on this one.
And then also be wrapped in the shrouds and the clay pots and being turned into a tree. Like, I don't feel the right to take up space for the living. As I don't think the dead should take up a space that the living should inhabit.
How did we get off on this? Was it the not being able to take Carl with them, or having to leave Carl's gravesite? Okay,
having to leave Carl's gravesite, and of course everyone that's buried there, Glenn and Abe, and
Glenn and Abe are at the hilltop.
Hilltop, yeah. But I could not imagine. It makes me think like
Jesse and Deanna and Reg and There are people who became significant who are buried there.
Right. And so I really, really hope that we come back to Alexandria and, you know, Rick has that little bit of closure of being able to live in peace near, you know, his son's grave and to be able to go through that mourning process.
I can't tell you because they don't cover that in the comic books because it doesn't happen.
And even, I was going to say, even if they did, we're way off book.
So one last thing, when Negan and Rick were talking at the end of the episode and Negan kept trying to find out if anything that they did was what killed Carl, would it have made a difference? What would Negan have done?
Yeah. Would it have made him feel any differently?
Right. Would he be like, okay, I'll capitulate to you, Rick, because I feel so bad? I don't feel like it did. I guess it was just kind of those I want to know because I want to know things, not because it's going to change my behavior.
Well, and I really do believe he had some sort of genuine care.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Plan for Carl.
I do too.
He was one of the only people that he truly opened up to. I think he's opened up. He opened up a little bit to Father Gabe about his first wife, but I think he and Carl, that was kind of, we're gonna die, and you know, you confess something to me, I'll confess something to you, and we'll get through this. I think for Carl, it was. I really think he wanted a son. He wanted a progeny. He wanted that experience. And I don't know why he doesn't, with all his wives, I don't know why he doesn't have a kid.
I don't know. Maybe they practice safe sex.
Via the rhythm method at this point.
You don't know that.
I think pretty much all of the contraceptives have expired.
Hey, if we are only 3 years in, Paragard IUD lasts for 10 years. Mirena lasts for 5. Nexplanon implant lasts for 3. Just saying.
Well, and the Egyptians used crocodile dung and honey, so.
God. Now we're way off track. So do you have anything left for Rotting Potpourri?
I don't.
We need our fill back. Or we need our bri.
That would be cool. Kirk had some really cool art up on Twitter today.
Yeah, did he really? I need to follow him on. Yeah. I do follow him on Twitter. I just missed it.
Well, he's a very he posts slightly more often than I do, which is never. So I lurk and retweet.
I'm kind of the same.
Yeah. So you guys can like us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can give us a rate or review on iTunes or whatever platform you listen to our podcast. Give us a few bucks on Patreon if you want. Go to
SMG, Southgate Media Group.
Oh, the dyslexia is kicking in. I need a pill for that. And maybe find another podcast.
Like Capes and Lunatics?
Capes and Lunatics. Yes. Shout out to Phil.
I listened to them today. It was really fun.
Yeah, I'm day 3 on my new job, so I don't think listening to podcasts is appropriate when I'm trying to learn.
Probably bad form.
Yeah, but it'll start to happen. I'll start to feel more comfortable about the work that I'm doing, and I'll just be a higher level input monkey. So that's all accounting is. We're just putting numbers from one place to another.
People are a resource.
We are. Well, sis.
Little sister, just remember.
Take it one dead day
at a time. That was close.
That was our best one.
It was not Love-a-Desk at all. It was close.
Yeah. Getting there.
All right. Well, I am hearing Yami screaming like a Mimi because he's outside and I've left him outside. So everybody peace out, have a good week, and we will see you on the opposite side of episode 11.